beautiful soul, welcome to Malaology. This video is all about Rudrakshas. How to care for your Rudrakshas, how to spot fake or authentic Rudrakshas, different regions that they're grown in, different sizes, and what to look for in a Rudraksha mala for yourself. I'm wearing my own Rudraksha mala. It's just a really nice, lightweight, highly textured bead that comes from the India region. Most Hindus and Buddhists, those are the ones that traditionally have used and worn Rudrakshas, but us in the West are discovering their amazing benefits and falling in love with the bead as well. Now, studies have proven that Rudraksha seeds have electromagnetic energy, and that interacts with the body's electric wheel, basically. It activates our chakras in our auric body, and it helps with chronic diseases. And this is proven with inflammation, diabetes, rheumatism, even gynecological disorders, neurological disorders, high blood pressure, heart rates, lots of other things. The spiritual benefits are also unmatched. If you're too airy, it will ground you. If you're too grounded, it will elevate you. It helps to center you and balance your body. Your Rudraksha becomes like I've heard it referred to as a cocoon. It creates a cocoon of energy around you. It shares your field, and it becomes a spiritual or an energetic best friend. And that's what it feels like. A blanket of self-love. That's what it feels like to me. Now let's talk about fake Rudrakshas. They exist. There are inauthentic Rudrakshas being sold all over the world. There are some big differences between a typical Rudraksha mala and a fake Rudraksha that's being errantly sold and misrepresented. Let me explain. There are two main regions where you're going to find Rudraksha beads. The Indonesia region, where a lot of people say that the beads are inferior, and the Nepali region, where a lot of people believe that the beads are superior. There's one huge difference between these two regions. In the Nepali region, where the beads are considered much more superior, the beads are much larger. Always. You will not find a Nepali Rudraksha that's smaller than 13 millimeters, but most typically 15 millimeters. Okay? That's what these are. In the Indonesian region, where they're considered to be less valuable, you're going to find them up to 15 millimeters. These are the smaller ones. You're not going to find an 8 millimeter, that's what I have here, Rudraksha seed in the Nepali region, and you're not going to find a 20 millimeter Rudraksha like you'll find in Nepal in the Indonesian region. So it's very easy to tell which region your Rudraksha was grown in. Okay, there are some other differences, weight to size ratio and things like that, but there's no need to get scientific about this. The Rudrakshas that are being sold as fake, the inauthentic Rudrakshas that you find out there are very, very expensive and valuable. You will find Rudrakshas being sold up to the tens of thousands of dollars online. And that's because Rudrakshas have different mukis or faces. And each one of them has a special quality. So I'm going to show you a 5-mukhi Rudraksha now. Hopefully this is focusing on it. This is the back of it. And I'm showing you the back and the front for a reason. I'll talk about this in a little bit. This is the front of it. And it reminds me of when you cut an apple open and the apple makes a pentagram on the inside. That's what this looks like to me. Now this is a 5-mukhi Rudraksha, and that's the most common kind. Rudraksha is considered Shiva's teardrops, a gift from the Lord Shiva. When he displayed compassion for humanity, he shed a tear, the tear hit the earth and grew a tree, and from that came the first Rudraksha seeds. This is a gift to humanity to help us to evolve spiritually and to find center, to find spirit, and to heal. Shiva, his preferred mukhi, is the 5-mukhi Rudraksha because there are 5 faces of Shiva, or 5 forms of Shiva. I love the 5-mukhi Rudraksha, common as it may be. However, there is a 1-mukhi Rudraksha, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3 is very rare. 4, 5, and I would say 6, not too rare. really common, fairly common. And then 7 and above, again, very rare. The higher the Mookie, the rarer. So what a lot of these inauthentic Rudraksha sellers, let's just put it kindly, what they do is they cut the Rudraksha at the Mookie. So they can cut 5 slices of this Rudraksha, and then they glue them together. They find different shapes that work with one another, and they can glue together 3 of them and make what looks like a 3 Mookie Rudraksha. Or they can find shapes that look really thin, and they could glue them together and make like a 19 Mookie Rudraksha. Again, a 19 Mookie Rudraksha, very expensive. The only way that people have found that you can really tell an authentic Rudraksha by its Mookie is to x-ray it. So if on the outside it looks like a 19 Mookie Rudraksha, meaning 19 faces, you would have to put it under an x-ray machine so that you can see if on the inside there are 19 faces or if it's just the outer faces being glued together. It seems like a lot of trouble for me. I'm not interested in owning a 19 Mookie Rudraksha. I'm happy with my 5 Mookie, but there are benefits. Each Mookie has a different benefit. You know, some are great for finding a partner, some are great for travel, some are great for excelling in school, etc., etc. And a lot of people want to have one of every Mookie. They're collectors, so they're willing to invest in higher Mookie. So they're the ones that need those little certificates of authenticity or proof of authenticity before purchasing. You don't need a letter of authenticity if you're purchasing 8mm Rudraksha seeds. It's not necessary because it would be ridiculous for someone to create fake 8mm Rudraksha seeds as plentiful as they are. It would be much more trouble to fake them. So that's the difference between authentic Rudraksha and fake Rudraksha. Fake Rudraksha, you're only going to buy one at a time and it's going to sell for a lot of money. That's the difference there. I get this question a lot. Now, regions, just to be clear, if somebody is selling an 8mm Rudraksha mala, you know this does not come from Nepal because that mala would be made of much, much larger beads. Okay? Another difference between Nepali Rudrakshas and Indonesian Rudrakshas, the Nepali Rudrakshas really basically just to be worn, not necessarily to be used for Mala Mantra. Of course, you can use it for Mala Mantra, but the benefit is thought to be in the wearing. Whereas the Indonesian Rudraksha, the smaller ones, those are the ones that you want to practice your Mala Mantra with. When you purchase Rudraksha, you will often receive it in this odd orange reddish color. This is the color that I usually get my Rudraksha in. It's not the preferred color, but the sellers often will dye the beads like this to preserve them. And it's good that they do preserve them because Rudraksha is prone to getting moldy, and there are oftentimes, I've seen it, especially with the larger ones, little bugs. So you have to clean and wash your Rudrakshas when you first get it. If you receive your Rudrakshas like this, orange red, I recommend that you soak it for at least a day. And what I do is I soak it in warm water and agitate it until the dye starts to kind of loosen. And then I take a soft brush. Some people will say a toothbrush, but I work with a lot of Rudraksha. I don't have time to scrub each bead individually anymore. I use a nail brush. And I put a little bit of oil, a little bit of olive oil on there, and I just brush them as I work my way down the strands. And then rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Usually it'll take 5 or 6 times to get the beads clean. And this is what they look like once they're clean, brown, just kind of a lightish brown. Now there's probably still a teeny little bit of dye in there for all we can tell, but it won't come off on your clothing after you've soaked it and washed it and soaked it and washed it. And then after you've worn your Rudraksha for a while, it turns dark. It will turn black eventually. I've worn this mala for probably 6 months, and so it's gotten this dark. If I were to wear it under my shirt against my skin, it would be much darker, and in a year it will probably be black, and that's fine with me. I love that. I love it when my sandalwood and rudraksha gets rich and dark like that. To me, it just adds to the earthiness and the beauty, because it's a natural substance and it's interacting with my natural energy. Now, after you've soaked and scrubbed and rinsed and repeat your rudraksha beads enough, and you're satisfied with the color, just take a little bit of olive oil, rub between your hands, and then rub your beads in between, working your way down the whole strand, and then lay it on a paper towel and let the beads absorb the oil. That's how you condition and preserve your beads. And you can do that quarterly, just, give it a little freshen up if you wish. I personally haven't reconditioned my beads since I did it 6 months ago, and they're in perfect condition for me. So really it's a matter of preference. Some people don't like their beads getting dark at all, and they will continually wash and rinse and scrub and all that to keep their beads bright, and that's great too. Now, Hindu scriptures, the Vedas, talk a lot about rudrakshas, give you instructions on how to use them and how to wear them and how to care for them. I do find wisdom in a couple of things. In short, I will say that when stringing your mala beads, when having a rudraksha mala made for you, I recommend that you have it strung head to head and back to back. So remember, I showed you the front of this mala, that's the head, and the back, right? So the beads should be head touching head, and then this one has a back touching back, and head touching head, and then back touching back. That will make a more positive and empowered energy flow of your beads that will amplify the energy of your rudraksha and that electromagnetic energy that you are wearing them for. I also recommend that you ask your mala maker to make sure that those beads are cleaned before they're strung. So if your mala maker receives beads like this, right, orangish red, this dye will come off, and they string it on a light colored cord. That cord is going to become orange or red over time. Your shirt is going to become orange or red over time. It's not showing respect to the material to not wash it and preserve it before stringing it. And lastly, when a mala maker knots the beads of a rudraksha mala, they should knot in the mantra Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. That should be knotted in to every knot between the beads of your rudraksha mala to hold and carry that beautiful blessing of the Lord Shiva, because the rudraksha is Shiva's gift. So it really ties in that gift of Shiva, and it makes your mala truly blessed. So remember those 3 things when ordering a rudraksha mala. Ask that they be cleansed beforehand, ask that they be strung head to head, tail to tail, and ask that that precious Shiva mantra be knotted in between each bead, and you will have a very powerful, very healing, beautiful mala. And if you want to know how to anoint and bless your beads, check out the video here, and I'll see you next time. Peace.